So here's the finished product. As you can see right here, I filled a little void because I got a little chip out in this tip on this head plate with sanding dust and wood glue off of this head plate. We will be doing the same thing to any gaps using all the different types of wood, whether it's a gap in the sapele or a gap in the maple or whatnot, so that we can fill them in and make the instrument look the best that it can. This is the final stages before final sanding for finish. And if you look, I talked to you a little bit about filling this little spot here. We're going to take this instrument and anywhere where the binding might have any kind of gaps, like right here, I'll fill that with maple dust and wood glue. And if you go along, you see it has, that'll be the sapele and wood glue. I'm actually going to try to take and put a little bit in the body joint to neck joint here. I don't know if it'll do any good or not. That's not really a bad fit anyway, but I will judge from the color of this fill whether I'm even going to try that or not. But I mean, there's tiny little gaps all along this binding because I did it with a Gremel, and those aren't gaps, but there are gaps here. But I did it with a Gremel, and it was the first time doing it with a Gremel, and I didn't get the greatest. In some places it's kind of like here, and where's that? Here. When I went to cut the top, it split and a piece of wood split off here. Just fill these in the best that I know how to get this to look the very best that it can look. And I'm just squeegeeing it into the cracks the best way that I can. I don't know, I hope my head is not in your way, but we're just trying to fill any gap that we can see. And some of it some of it isn't gaps, some of it is just the wood looks funky, and it might have a little bit of dip in it or unevenness in it, or not be quite level or any of that sort of thing. And I'm just using this as a way to try to take all that out of the equation. And I'm using a little piece of binding because this glue won't really stick to it all that well. So I can clean it off of here. Continue to use this stick and not be rummaging around trying to find something to mix this wood with. And it's really important. Daylight is a wonderful thing when you're doing this, because it will show you all the places where you have gaps and imperfections. And I've seen a lot of builders, and a lot of them don't show this step. Now, to be fair, some of them might be using different types of power tools that stop that from being an issue. But everybody, I think, probably deals with this, especially when you think about like first time builders like what I am in this acoustic. There's going to be a need for it, and I probably won't progress to a point for a long time where I get so close tolerances that I don't need it, and I need to mix up a bit more of this sanding dust. I don't know if you can see that, but you'll have to forgive me because it's more necessary for me to be able to see what I'm doing at this stage than it is for you to be able to see what I'm doing, if that makes sense. If I had a cameraman, I'd move this camera so that you could see this, but my cameraman is me, so I don't have anybody to do it. Suffice it to say, there's a gap here on this edge. And I am filling it in. Now this might shrink a bit, and I might have to make a second run at it. I don't know, but right now it looks like we're good. This guitar has, get off there, whatever you are, little pieces of tear out and chip out from when I cut the rosette channel. What I'm going to do is try to fill those in so they're not as noticeable. This might have the effect of making them more noticeable. That's a risk that you take, because like I said, a lot of times the glue will make the the glue will make the wood dust more, or rather darker. So, but if that happens, at least it will be flat for finish to go on. So either way, and then alright, and then I have gaps like here where there was tear out, either when cutting the top to shape or when cutting binding channels. What we want to do is fill those in as best we can. I have a big chunk that ripped out as I was cutting the top side to size here. And I know there's one, here we go, here. And some grain tear out along there. Alright, that should do that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry really well. Fill that just a little bit more. And then I'll sand it all and make it as presentable as I can before I move on to finish work. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.